Welcome to another Photoshop Basics with Cassandra Capsis. So in class we have been practicing a lot with the pen tool in order to make a more precise drawing or line selection. We're going to kind of do an overview today on that as well, but also I want a lot of my yearbook people to think about using this to do their cutouts for the pages or senior pages. So let's go over to this little section. So let's remember that the pen tool, the text tool, this little selection arrow, and the shape tool are all what's considered vector drawing tools, which are making lines and points, which is different than the raster, which is just directly making pixels onto the canvas. So we click on pen tool, we click and hold, and we have 5 different tools, okay? Down the road we'll learn how to add and delete anchor points. But today we're just going to do a quick and easy pen tool selection. The next thing is we have to talk about our layers and our channels and our path section. So as you can see here, this photograph is on what's considered layer 0, which is fine. But when we're working with the pen tool, it's best if we go to the Paths tab, and what we're going to make it as a new path, and that path is just going to make a simple little line drawing that we can use for a selection or to edit the photograph later. It's temporary. It's not going to be physically on a layer, which is nice. And we can always merge it in with the layers later. So let's zoom in here. Command plus to zoom in. Command minus to zoom out. Let's go out just a little bit. All right. So to start, you just click where you want to start. I'm going to click right here. And since we're just using a plain old pen tool, we're just going to make many little anchor points. So I'm going to click a lot because the more points the better. The reason why I say that is because that way you can edit and move them around and get really close to the object that you are cutting out or selecting. What I like about the pen tool is that it allows me to draw with a mouse. So if I'm really shaky and I can't really make those nice clean line shapes with my drawing tablet, this just allows me to do what I need to do and still have kind of like a free form shape. And using the pen tool instead of the quick mask mode or just the lasso tool is a great way to keep your selection around, so if you need it later you don't have to redraw it over and over again every time you open up the file. The path always stays with the layer as long as you didn't delete it before you push save. That's the reason why I recommended this for the yearbook pop-up or pop-out cutouts of the seniors. Okay, so you can see that I went all the way around the trash can, and my pen is making this little like circle at the bottom of it. That means that it's going to close the shape. That's where I started. I'm going to close the shape, and now my points all went to black. So with that, you can see that the little shape is now in my path layer. And if I wanted to, I could edit this by using my selection arrows, either the path or the direct select. So the path will move the whole drawing, or the whole group of paths and points. The white arrow, or the direct selection tool, will just take certain paths or points and move them, so you can go in there and fine-tune your path drawing a little better. Alright, it looks pretty good actually. Push that in a little bit. Okay, so I have a pretty good path drawing. Let's look and see how this looks over in my layers. So you can see that you don't see anything over here on my layers, but I'm going to make a new layer. And I'm going to go back to path, and right now it's just a line and point, but I want to make this selection that I can dump paint into. So down on the below here, when I'm in the path section, I have many options. Fill the path with foreground color. I can stroke the path with a brush. Just click on that, which means it makes it a line, right? It's going to be a blue line around the whole path. Let me turn this off so you can see a little better. So you can see that little blue line, hopefully a little better. Let's see, what else am I going to do? I can make a selection, which is what I want to do. And I want to go to my layers. And in layer 1, I'm going to dump some color in there using my paint bucket. So you can see that there's a perfect little trash can shape. And I can do that many times, and it'll always be the same perfect shape because we're not changing anything. So let me deselect. and I'm going to take my path again, click on it, use my black arrow, because I want to take the whole group. I'm going to take the whole group of those lines, right there it is, and I'm just going to make, move it over a little bit, and I'm going to make another trash can. Maybe I'll just move it over here and make a whole nother trash can. And then I can make a new selection. So I can just take my path, choose a color I like, so I'm going to go back to paths. You can see the white means that this is the shape, the gray means that that is not the selected area. I'm going to go to click on make a selection with the path, and if I just dump color in, I can dump any color I want. On the foreground I had yellow, and it should be in layer 1. So I'm going to go deselect, and I'm going to take my path, and this time I'm going to move the path to somewhere else. So let me take my black arrow, which is going to take the whole body of paths. I'm just going to put a trash can down here, below it. Actually, it's going to go off the page. Let's go up with the trash can. Go up with the trash can. And then click on layers again. Sorry, click on path, make a selection, go back to layers, pick a different color, and I can dump color in. Use my paint bucket again, and there I have 2 trash cans. But what if I like that trash can that I just took from my photograph, and I want to use it as a cutout? So, putting my photograph toggle back on so I can view it, let's go back to the working path, click on the working path. You can see the working path is floating above here, the little line. It's like a temporary invisible line. Let's click on our path selection tool and drag it down so it's selected around the trash can again. Alright, and you want to make sure that you have it perfectly lined up. If you don't, you want to use your white direct selection tool and you can move it around. So let's click over here. Sometimes I click out into the white space or the non-selected area to get the points to open up the white. So if they're black, that means they're all going to move as a group. But when they're white anchor points or white dots, that means that you can move them one by one. They're unlocked. Alright, so now that it looks good, I'm going to go back to my layers, and I'm going to do what's called a layer mask around this trash can, which is going to cover up everything outside of the trash can and only select the inside of the trash can. And this is what we're going to do with our senior pages, guys. So we click on path, make a new selection, go to layers, and then click on your layer with the photograph, and you can see the little square with the circle in it. If I hold my mouse over it, it says add layer mask. I go yes, and see how it makes that shape. It cuts it out nice and clean. If I wanted to, this is called non-destructive. I could go in there and clean up the path again and cut it out without destroying the photograph. So if I forgot a chunk of somebody's hair or maybe a hand for the seniors, I can go back and fix it with my path tool and then make the new selection again. Okay, so from here I can just copy and cut and paste this or save it just like this, and everything will be fine. I can move this around and put it anywhere on the page I want, and it's going to move with the move in the space without interfering with the original photograph. So I hope this was helpful and hopefully clarified a little bit what the path tool does in the pen tool. And I'm going to do a freestyling next, so if you want, you can go to the next video, which is called Pen Tool Part 2, and I will see you guys around.